All right, we're calling the meeting to order. Welcome to our January 2023 annual members meeting of the FPOA. I'm Stacy Stauffer. I am this year's chair. I will have a tendency to step all over my tongue, so please forgive me if I repeat myself. But we want to thank everybody for coming tonight, for your support over the last year. We've had a lot of great things that have happened, and we're hoping to, have a lot more this coming year. What we did is on the table in the back is a piece of paper with a pen. Anybody who would like to volunteer, not necessarily be on a board or a committee, but somebody who wants to volunteer at one of the events that we do, if you could put your name and email address, we'll invite you to our meetings, so that way you can, maybe help out and, participate. So I guess with that being said, we want to move on. We'll introduce you to the rest of the board. Our vice chair is Jessica Hale. Our secretary is Mary Schliehoffer. Our treasurer is Sue Sedlak. And then our members at large are Colleen Schleifer.
Hey, Colleen.
We've got Ashley Schaus. Andy Moody. Melissa Crofton. And we have one who was unable to attend, Pam Wall. We've had a couple of our board members stay on longer than they were supposed to help keep the FPOA going. Arlene McHugh, who's not here this evening, and Andy for their extended terms on the board, and Miss Sue for sticking around and continuing on as our treasurer. We have a couple of other people that have been very helpful in the last year. Jenny Seidler. I'm glad I'm being corrected. She's been she reaches out to Lisa at the Village Hall. She finds out who the new members are to the community, not necessarily at FPOA, but the new residents, and then she conveys information over to Julie Andrus, who delivers the welcome kits. All right. And then Dustin Hale is standing in the back. He has volunteered to be our Facebook admin, and he is our town crier. So with that, we'd like to move on to the secretary's report.
Okay. I have posted on the window back there and also on the members room window the minutes from our last annual meeting, which was on Tuesday, January 18th, 1922. 2022.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Any seconds? Got it. All right, so if Sue could give us the treasurer's report here.
That also is posted up on that door and that door. And from a financial standpoint, we rocked in 2022. Anyone who has been here a while knows that the FPOA heavily relied on directory advertising money to produce all of our events. That was about $9,000 net that we would collect, that we spread over 2 years. This was the first year that we ran a full schedule of events without any advertising, and it was nerve-wracking, to say the least. We expected to lose about $3,000 last year. We had some generous donors of not only cash, but prizes for the carnival and the other things. So instead of losing $3,000, we actually increased our balance $2,000. So, and a lot of that is just from, you know, our board watching costs and making sure that every dollar we spend is actually needed. So we went from a balance of about $11,810 to $13,737, and that's where we're staying today.
I make a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
I second it. All right, so next up, if our mayor, Don Boydo, could say a few words, that'd be appreciated. Thank you.
Usually I have to read off notes because my memory is pretty crappy. So I'm going to get some notes. But 2022 was an interesting year for Foxfire in a lot of ways. New home construction continued, somewhat slower, but we still have right now 55 homes being built, or the property is being cleared for the building. In 2022, we had 62 certificates of occupancy. And you figure that's an average of 2.5 people per household statistically. So we're probably looking somewhere in the vicinity of 1,500 people as the total population for Foxfire. It could be a little more, it could be a little less. Before I go on to talk about what's happened in 2022, what else has happened in 22, and what we're going to be doing in 23, I just want to mention all of the volunteer work is done by everybody in this village. I mean, just countless times people have stepped up to do things. The council itself is all volunteers. Planning and zoning board, all volunteers. The board of adjustment, all volunteers. Long range planning committee, all volunteers. And certainly all the volunteers at the Yardley facility. It goes on, and everybody appreciates that. Certainly we appreciate the town crier, Dustin Hale. Thank you. And Cameron had come up with a new website inside Foxfire, which has a lot of good information on it. Some of it I would agree with, some of it not necessarily. But she does a good job. The one area we do need some help on is the appearance committee. So if any of you folks think you might want to participate in that, please let anybody on the council know or call the village and let them know. In addition to all the volunteers, you've got to have full-time staff. And we've got some terrific people. We've got Lisa Kimmett as our village clerk, Sharon Sanchez as the assistant finance officer, and our newest employee, we have Jesse Stouter, who is our water technician. And of course, we can't go anywhere without saying anything about the police department. So I got the chief here to take a couple minutes to talk about the police.
Before I get started, can we all just take a moment and just recognize the real MVP? I promised the mayor I'd keep it short and sweet. I know we don't have much time. Just a couple of topics that I wanted to hit. First, our personnel. For the first time in 2022, we were actually full staff for most of the year, which includes 4 full-time officers and a part-time officer. The cohesion between all the officers is great. We all get along great. We all almost know what the other one's going to do before the other one does it. I can't do what I do without this man back here in the back. Gary, come on forward. Most of you know Lieutenant Garner. If you don't, this is Gary. I call him the Green Giant. He's not really Green Giant, he's looking do what I do without this man. He does an exceptional job. Moving on, you guys are probably familiar with the grant or have heard about the law enforcement block grants that we received in the past for the police department. I'm happy to report that we got it again for the 2023 calendar year. This bumps us as a village over the $100,000 mark in grants, just the block grant for the police department, which in the long run helps us provide more equipment for the town, the people, and hopefully keeps your taxes a little lower. We're not like those fire guys that constantly. Speaking of numbers, and I'm just kidding, the fire department, great job. We can't do what we do without them. Speaking of numbers, I just want to hit a couple of numbers that we have done over this past calendar year. There's a couple that stand out. I went and looked back in the history of Foxfire Village Police Department, which came into effect around 1981. The highest amount of citations written inside of Foxfire Village was about 650 citations in a calendar year. For 2022, kind of come on the heels of COVID, a lot of weird things went on. It was a learning curve for the police department. Being told that, hey, unless you absolutely need to have contact with people on the road, leave them alone was uncharted territory for the police department. I've been in law enforcement for 22 years, and I've never been told, don't go out there and stop a car unless you absolutely need anything. to keep from unnecessary contact. We really didn't know what was going on. But with that being said, once we kind of got off of the whole COVID kick and we got back to the quote-unquote some normalcy, Gary and I talked to the guys and we said, hey, let's get back out there, let's do what we're known for, and that's stopping cars and keeping these roads safe in Foxfire. So with that being said, in 2022, Foxfire Police Department wrote 1,660 citations.
That's one per person.
Those 1,600 citations were a result of 1,419 vehicles that were stopped. Obviously, some stops netted a couple more charges than the others. It also netted 59 physical arrests where people were taken to Moore County Jail in handcuffs, not just given a citation like that. Cool. Speaking of arrest, we have a new system where someone takes out a warrant. The old way was whoever had the warrant had to serve it. Now everything's computerized these days, so we get assigned warrants to Foxfire Village, and in 2022 we served 25 warrants for people in the village, unfortunately. So those numbers for physical arrests are way up compared to years past. I can't talk numbers without speaking ordinances. Derek Kivett for 2022, he's our part-time ordinance officer. He wrote 262 ordinance violations for the calendar year. So that was a large increase in violations as well. So the only other thing I want to speak about, and I want to hear everybody's fair warning, you just heard the citation number. We plan on continuing on. Lieutenant Garner has a piece of equipment that's called a LiDAR. Now, most of you know, if you see us out there in our cars on the side of the road, just know big secret, we're out there running the radar, whether we're moving or we're sitting stationary. Gary has a piece of equipment that's not a radar, it's actually a laser, which means we no longer have to be sitting straight on the side of the road, we don't have to be following you, we don't have to be approaching you. We can take that laser, almost like a gun, and point it at the vehicle we want and get the speed on it. That allows us to be, quote unquote, a little more sneaky when it comes to running your speed. So I know there's a couple of residents in here that have seen it already last week. If you see us out on the side of the road, we're probably out there running radar just about our cars. So if you see us out in your front yard along the side of the road, don't freak out. We're not trying to watch you or anything like that. Odds are we're trying to run some radar and target specific areas that are trouble spots. So with that being said, Lieutenant Garner, is there anything you want to pass on?
Just that we're expecting a new car any day. It's going to be another Charger. Other than that, I mean, we've got it's clean black. As your report said, you can have any color you want in black. So,
Speaking of our vehicles, I know a lot of the new residents, we'll get calls on ourselves all the time, especially about his pickup truck. Lieutenant Garner drives an F-150 as a patrol car. And until the light hits it just right down the side, you really can't tell what it is. So if you see a black F-150 in that area, don't freak out. It's probably Lieutenant Garner riding around.
yes.
But with that being said, obviously we can't do what we do without you and your support. And I've been here since 2007. Rick Ryan, rest his soul, was the chief that hired me out here. And I've watched a lot of things change since I came out here in 2007. And I think when I started, we had about 400 residents. So it's not hard to do the math now to see what I've seen through my eyes and the change I've seen. But we welcome it, and like I said, we appreciate everybody and what you do for the community. And if you ever need anything from me, you know where I'm at. Thanks.
Now, one of the things that we actually accomplished in 2022, and that's sort of broken about by department. So the first one we'll talk about, the streets, schools, and park, and that's the responsibility of Councilwoman Janet Nauman. This year, we were able to spend some time and money working on the park trails, getting them to be more tractable without people falling in it. We still have some things we need to do, but I think we got them where they can be safely traversed right now. Everybody saw the old fences along Hoffman Road that were falling down and broken. Those have been removed, and we put in some new fencing at key spots, generally at intersections. A large portion of North Shamrock was resurfaced, which was a fairly expensive proposition. In addition to that, we enlarged the parking at the pool and the pickleball courts and repaved that. And took out some bushes so we got more parking spaces, and we have cart parking there and all of that. And certainly part of that whole scenario was we opened the pickleball courts. And all three of those are in use all the time. So it looks like that has been a really good addition to the village. Councilman Gary Samuels. Gary put together a job description and was able to hire a person to become the water technician. He's sort of in the training phase right now, but he's a goer, and we're hoping that he will be able to take over a lot of the duties that our part-time person, David McHugh, was doing. So that's been a real positive thing. He's gone out and he's already repaired and replaced doors on the well houses. We were way behind on getting water meters into the new homes. And since he's come on board, we are completely caught up on all of those water meters, so none of the new houses are waiting around to get hooked up. Next page. Everybody knows water is an issue around the state. We're in good shape right now. We don't have any problems with the expansion that we have going on. We know we need to have additional water. So we explored what we thought was going to be a good well a little further out on Hoffman Road. Turned out, well, not so much, the dry hole. So since then, we've got another location on the corner of Hoffman and Woodland Circle, and that looks promising, and we'll know probably in the next couple of weeks whether there's actually water there. So that'll be a real neat thing for us. Next up, public safety. Councilman Don Nelson. Very hard, Don. As the chief said, we were able to hire an additional officer, so we're full staff there, plus the part-time enforcement officer. So that worked out really well. And Don was able to negotiate a new contract with the West End Fire Department for this year. we were still able to stay below the county rate, at least a percentage below the county rate. So did a good job on that for us. Finance, we've done a couple of different things there. We've invested about $2.5 million with an entity called the North Carolina Capital Management Trust Government Portfolio. What it is a lot of local governments invest in this, and it's pretty much a money market type of situation. We can get in and get out whenever we want. No big deal there. And we're getting right now 4% interest on $2.5 million. That's a pretty fair chunk of change. And we expect that the interest rate will probably increase throughout the year. We will still, however, keep about $1 million with the First Bank, because we've been doing business with them for quite a while. Okay, what else we have here? Our budget went through fine. We were audited by an independent audit agency and found no major issues at all. The financial strength of the village is excellent. And we were able to secure $300,000+ from the American Recovery Act funds, which are a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. A good portion of that money will be used to bring in a new well. And we have some other money left over. We're hoping to put that toward drainage issue. Yeah. Okay. And in general, some things that have happened is everybody's probably seen the subdivision going in off of Richmond Road. It's going to be called Windy Ridge, and it's going to have between 22, 24 homes somewhere in that vicinity, and it's going to be built by 3 builders at this point. And we're hoping to get a plat by February sometime, Mary. Final plat for approval. Yeah, so that'll start to go in over the next couple of years. We did send a community survey to all residents. Actually, the Long Range Planning Committee put a lot of hours in developing this questionnaire and sent it out to all the villagers. We got about 250 some responses out of the village. So that was enough to give them some data to go forward and develop a 5-year plan. And we did have, of course, the power outage, and that turned out to be lucky for us. We were only 24 hours out, and that was very helpful for us. Our new water tech was able to get up to the water tower to make sure that the water system was working while we were down, and that was a real benefit to having hired him. And we had no issues with the water system, I'm sure everybody knew that. The one thing that was impressive was the number of people who volunteered within the village to do whatever we needed. Talked to the police, they talked to me, they talked to some of the council, if there's anything they could do to help, and that was really appreciated. I gotta say, not unexpected, because we're a great village, and that's what makes it great. And special thanks to those who went next door to talk to their neighbors, to make sure they were okay, and their friends and all that. Okay, challenges and issues going into 2023. We have a new contract that will be let for village landscaping, and that will be a process that will go on for the next couple of months. That's an important thing for us. We have a plan to have a pool management system. Our company run our pool this year because our staff doesn't have time anymore with all the things that are going on to devote time to that pool. So we're looking at doing that. We do have some issues with the leak. That was determined last week that we think we found the source of that, and that should be fixed with, we hope, minimal expense. We're going to look to see if we can develop a long-term plan contract with the West End Fire Department, so we don't have to renegotiate this thing every year. We hope to adopt the 5-year plan that's being provided to us by the Long Range Planning Committee. Certainly we want to be able to bring that new well online. civil and other things. We want to develop a closer relationship with county officials as well as our neighboring communities. And we've made some attempts to do that. We've developed a plan in accordance with some of the folks suggested being one to come up with a new equipment for the park for the kids, playground equipment. So we're looking to do that next fiscal year. So we're going to have to develop and then implement security measures around our critical infrastructure, mainly our well houses. Currently, we have locked doors. We need to determine whether chain link fence or something like that required to protect those.
Don, can we electrify it?
No. I'm pretty sure we can't do that. We'll be selecting a new credit card for all the village employees that will give us a better cash back system than we currently use. Pardon?
Does that include the police department?
Yes, it includes the police department, everybody. We would have one card, but everybody has some accounts on one card. That's the plan. Then we're going to establish a new backup plan for the village hall and the fire station. So that if we have another outage, we can use those as not necessarily shelters, but perhaps warming facilities or places to come and charge your phones or whatever should occur again. So we're going to be looking at that this year. And then the last thing, have to prepare for a November election. Excuse me. We got 2 seats up for the council in November, so start thinking about whether you want to serve. If anybody has any questions, they can get me after the meeting. Thank you.
All right, so we're very fortunate to have Ethan here with the Foxfire Golf.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Ethan Brown. I'm the assistant golf professional here at the club. Our general manager had a previous engagement that he had to attend and was able to get here tonight. And just before we start, I want to thank Mayor Boyto and the village council for all they do. We wouldn't be able to do it without them, and of course the police department for, even though we don't have to call them that often, whenever we have to, they're here quick and help us out and just protect us every day. So, as Don was talking about, we've got a lot of new families moving into the village. And with that, I know it's a lot more younger military demographics, so I want to start by announcing we do have a new military rate for the club this year. As well as the new military rate, we have lower rates in general for our entire membership. Also, the maintenance building that was scheduled to be here by now is going to be finished by March 31st. And right now we're deciding if we're going to put a barrier fence or if we're going to shrub it in for security, but it's going to have a gate at the front gate, no matter what. A week ago, we got in a new fleet of 50-mile carts to better service throughout spring. We'll bring those out at the start of March. Along with that maintenance building, we did get approved our budget this year for 3 new pump houses. So, might use a little bit more water, but the courses are going to look a lot better. Wanted to give Mr. Savage over here a quick shout out. Him and his wife have been repainting all our course signs for us.
Thank you.
They're just doing a great job. I want to thank them for everything they've been doing for us. And along with trying to grow our membership this year, we are offering lessons at the club now. You can get in touch with me or Mr. Gorski about that. And we are still looking for somebody to lease out the kitchen if anybody's interested. I don't know who it will be, but we've got a lot of new people moving into Foxfire, and we'd like to grow membership as possible and help the village out however we can. And if nobody has any questions, that's pretty much all we have to update you on.
Just real quick, got the directory report and new residents. Just want to let you guys know that anytime we get a new update on new residents to the area, the list will be sent out quarterly by the town crier, all right? And it will be forwarded to FPOA members who are in good standing. So it won't be posted anywhere, it's just via email will be the only way that you'll have access, that we will have access to any new residents to the area with their phone numbers and addresses. Jessica would like to talk about the events that we've had and what we're thinking of coming up.
Thank you. Okay, so let's talk about everything we did last year. As Sue mentioned, we put on quite a few activities and we're still able to maintain quite a good budget. We had 9 activities last year. We started it off in June with the movie night in the park with Encanto. In July, we did the 4th of July picnic, which everybody really loves. We did something new last year with a paint night in August here at the club for a ladies' night. So that was a lot of fun and it received a lot of good praise. So we're thinking about doing it again this year. September, we did the carnival in the park, which was so much fun, and I can't help but thank anybody and all of you that helped us with that, the families that participated, that did booths, everybody that donated items. It was so much fun. It was a huge hit. So we will definitely be doing that one again this year, and we'll figure out a way to make it bigger and even better. Then in October, we do the trunk and treat. We had 21 carts and 21 trunks this year, which I think is our biggest yet, I think. November was the tree lighting, which is always a lot of fun. Cookies and hot chocolate for the kids and the candy cane hunt. The Christmas party was in December, the night of the power outage. I heard that was the night to remember. And then followed up with the best decorated houses. We had 11 houses participate this year, so we had 3 winners with cash prizes. Hopefully this year we can get even more people engaged in that. And then the golf cart parade kind of ended the year. So we had a really successful year. Hope you all enjoyed it. And we are open to suggestions on things that anybody is thinking about in terms of activities they'd like to see done. Some of the main ones we're planning to keep, and we're already starting our planning on those. And possibly even considering an Easter egg hunt this year and maybe a scavenger hunt as well. So we're trying to add in a few more activities into some of those months that don't have anything. So we're always looking for volunteers who want to help. Feel free. I think that's pretty much it. So thank you guys.
Does anybody have any questions or comments? Yes.
I have a question. So, you know, we have this available to us. We're looking for different events and things like that, you know, to kind of spark. I really don't know what the kitchen looks like here, but what if there was some sort of monthly event that took place here? Whether it's like, you know, 50 soft top, you know, that's something, you know, that you could do. But, you know, month by month, is there something that we could do to kind of bring some of the residents here, utilize the kitchen to help support, you know, part of it? I know I have friends back in New Jersey and they do, you know, 70s disco night, you know, and they have music and all that, you know. So there's all kinds of things that you can come up with, you know, to kind of support everything. Is that something that we could possibly take a look at to utilize the space that we have here and kind of bring the community together?
We could definitely look into it. A couple of things, like Ethan said, is there's currently nobody utilizing the kitchen, managing the kitchen, so in order to do something like that, you would have to bring in like an outside caterer.
Okay, and I guess my next question is, I mean, I've been to different things where they have a kitchen available and everybody comes and they work the kitchen. You know, so you bring in food and you know, either bring it in where it's slightly warm and you have to warm it up, or you do something, but you're kind of utilizing the kitchen to kind of help support it.
I would say that that's basically out of our hands. That is more clubhouse, golf course, ground golf management category. We would need to go to them to see what they would like to do.
Probably have to rent it.
Excuse me?
You have to rent this kitchen in order to use it for an event.
Yeah.
I don't even know what kind of shape the kitchen's in as far as.
If you use it, you keep it in shape.
You need to talk around about that.
You know, so
I agree with you 100%.
You know, I mean, if it's something, I mean, mean, like, you know, VFW and, you know, Knights of Columbus and all of those, they offer it. I've held events in places like that, you know, where you utilize the kitchen, you're using the kitchen, you're keeping it active and whatnot. So, I mean, if it's something that they can do, so, you know, I don't know, I guess is the question, how do you go about doing that and make it? Okay.
The kitchen also needs to be inspected, and I don't think that was, 2006.
I think the last time it was inspected was 2020.
Well, really, even though we had events and everything, I mean, I don't know how long it carries or whatever, so. An inspection.
All the events have been put on by anything we put on was cable.
These are probably questions we could have asked the
Ethan.
person from, Ethan from the club, because he probably has the.
Is it still here? Does anybody know?
We're gonna go see if we can get it back. Yes, sir.
All right, first of all, I don't believe Ethan to know, but my question has to do with the phone book. The Property Owners Association used to put out a phone book that hasn't been put out for a couple of years. Are you going to do that again, or how do we, it's online, how do you get it online?
It's emailed through the town clerk every 3 months.
I've never received it, I've never gotten it.
So that's why we need to make sure we get everybody's email, if you're interested.
But I do get the emails from the town crier,
But you
Okay.
haven't gotten that?
but I've never had that.
Okay.
Well, going forward, that's the only way that we're gonna be able to give out the telephone numbers is via the email. So we'll make sure that that's all up to date, and we'll get it out as soon as we can. We'll make sure that everybody's email that we have is included.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Can we have a quote-unquote support email that a question like that could be sent to, so that somebody can kind of field and collect and help mediate that? I remember going through that as far as getting the password, to get a special password to get to.
That is for the website.
Yeah, so, just those little website technical questions, somebody could answer a general mailbox or something.
Does the FPOA have
What Tom's saying is he's getting
Right.
stuff.
Right, the second question, you have one more question to us.
Why don't we get, Dustin, our town crier, to send out a fresh shot at this phone book? If anybody doesn't get one in the next, say, month, get in touch with one of your board members here.
Dustin?
Yes. Problem straightened out.
Come on up. Join the crowd.
I do email, I
When was the last time you sent out a phone book?
Maybe 4 months ago, something like that. I feel like there should be a new one coming up.
There was one that just came out just real recently.
When was
You
that?
would, huh?
When was that, do you think?
End of December.
I might have missed that one. I'll send that out. If somebody wants to send it back to me, I might have missed that one just because of the whole holidays and everything.
And you keep a list of, you keep two lists,
Two
correct?
separate lists. There's
One
town
is
crier list.
FPOA
Yep.
members in good standing.
Yep.
And the other is just a big blast that goes to everybody. And
Absolutely.
the only people that get the phone book are FPOA members that are in good standing.
Correct.
Does that mean we're not in good standing?
If you didn't get
We'll see how the night goes.
You're off trial. Go ahead.
I'm having a good conversation.
Sorry to interrupt.
Talked a little bit about this last year. I know everybody loves to have a hard copy of the directory, which is great. There were two main reasons why we discontinued that. The first being that we had so many new people moving in here, by the time we published the directory, it was already obsolete. The second reason was advertising is very hard to come by. Since COVID happened, you know, there are a lot of businesses that are struggling.
So I have a great idea. If we have a new people in Foxfire event, you know.
We're always looking for volunteers.
That's right.
You know, like once a month, it's like, you know, new individuals to Foxfire, we're having an event over here at, you know, the center, and we have food and, you know, the whole thing, and meet and greet and everything like that. There you go, once a month.
We did that.
Didn't work.
And it did not. It wasn't very successful. We didn't get a good percentage.
Maybe you just didn't have the right music.
We'll collect it at the end of the evening, so if there's not a pen there, let me know.
We do appreciate your enthusiasm.
Yeah, no, it's
big time, you know, and as long as we can keep channeling information to people and then having people be aware of the events that are happening, because a lot of people say, well, I didn't get anything.
Yeah,
Well, are
that's
you on
true.
the list? You know, you need to have your email, so Dustin can send out, you know, the blast emails and the FPOA website, we advertise everything on that. A lot of the stuff also goes on the Foxfire Village residents page. So we're trying to hit all those bases to make sure people are aware. And that's one of the things that we hear a lot. So, you know, from our perspective, we want people to be involved. We appreciate your.
I'll put my name on this.
That would be great. That would be great.
Do we have any more questions or comments?
How many members do we have now at FPOA?
In 2022, we had 148.
One
Which was up about 12 from the prior year.
That's not a good sign.
So that people all know about it.
It goes back to the same thing, passing the word when people move in, and then neighbors passing the word, and.
I think I cornered you.
You cornered me.
On the corner.
I talked to neighbors and they're like, what are you talking about? And I'm new.
Now, every new resident should be getting a packet delivered to their door. And the way we know that we have new residents is from the list that Jimmy Siebler gets from the town. And we have found that some people have been missed on that, I don't know how, but now that we're getting them monthly, the names monthly, Julie Andrus is delivering those packets monthly. There's a form to join the FPOA in that packet. And there's information in there about the FPOA.
So one more question. We get the Seven Lakes newsletter, you know, it's a paper, so we get the paper. I have no idea what the expense on something like that is, you know, but we get it and we take a look at, you know, things that are going on there. What would that cost us? And, you know, is it something that would actually be, you know, an opportunity to kind of help with what I do?
As we used to publish what was called Foxfire. And that was every quarter. And we had someone put together a bunch of interesting articles. But that was discontinued. The person who was doing it decided she no longer
Too expensive, and I don't know.
And actually, it could be done digitally and just mailed out, so probably very little expense.
Any more questions?
I have one more. Sure. Another question in regard to the West End fire. and, you know, their expense and everything like that. Do we have other options available to us, or is West End really the only opportunity as far as?
There is another option that's good for county, and our cost will go up
Go up,
substantially.
so they're really the only option that we have.
Basically,
Okay. Just curious.
You've done a good job. I know because we had this call.
Anybody else? Anybody here want to say anything? Did we miss
What's the next event we can plan for?
So-
That one set yet?
Yeah, so if we were thinking about moving the paint night, the ladies' paint night that we had.
Oh, painted ladies, cool.
Don't worry, Stephanie, stop, really,
What day was that?
I don't think we're gonna have that one.
We'll all show up.
Yeah.
Oh, it's finger paint too, that's.
Okay, so if we end up doing the ladies' paint night in February, possibly an Easter egg hunt around Easter time frame, and then we always start off the summer with a movie night in June, usually the first one, if we don't add something sooner. Yep.
Sounds good.
We're open to suggestions, so, you know, feel free to let us know.
Before
No
we-
painted ladies, though.
Before we adjourn, I would just like to thank Andy Moody. He took over chairmanship of the FPOA when we were in danger of going down the tank. No one wanted to take it over. We were having a hard time getting volunteers for the board. And we didn't have the directory advertising money to work with. He managed to bring us back bigger and better than we were before, and chaired for
And officially, Sue could have said adios, you know, I'm just gonna be, you know, member at large, and I'm done with the treasury and all the being treasurer. She's opted to stay on with us.
That's right.
She's the backbone of a lot of stuff that we do.
All right, so before we adjourn, I just want to thank Sandy Cameron over here. She volunteered to videotape tonight's meeting, so if anybody wants to rewatch it, it'll be out on our Facebook page and the inside of foxfire.com. Give her a day or two to get everything tweaked and what have you, and then it'll be out there for everybody to see. Oh, yes.
Oh, wait a minute.
All right, so I
Wait,
think
wait, we got a question. Yeah, we're doing that now.
you're going to be drawing for the 50
Okay, we're doing 50.
give me a 7.
Last three numbers,
Oh, last three.
4,
Yeah.
3,
No.
9.
Early was a kid.
You think you did win, girl?
All right, if there's nothing else, if there's nothing else, anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Anybody second?
Second.
Let's have a great year, everybody.